process it. So here's the challenge. I want you to think about your most important case you have right now, and during the break today, you'll have some time. Narrow that case down to a storyline, to a message that fits inside the matchbook cover. It's the most important thing you will do today is to focus on what's important. And this is a picture of Ernest Hemingway, and he was once challenged by a group of his friends. They said, we bet you can't write a story in 6 words. You essentially put something inside a matchbook cover. And here's what Ernest Hemingway came up with. So doesn't that 6-word story capture your attention? Don't you want to hear what he has to say? Hasn't he developed a theme? Not only do we want to know about the baby shoes never worn, but who would put these baby shoes up for sale? That's effective storytelling. That's the challenge we all have to become great trial lawyers. And the only key to it is it takes some effort, and you have to know it's the right way to go. So finally, I want to end with a quote from the jurist Benjamin Cardoza. He was on the New York Court of Appeals, rewrote the Restatement of Torts and Contracts in the early 1900s. And he said, the picture cannot be painted if everything is given equal prominence. You must know how to select. So what is the story of your case? Is it the mountains? Is it the forest, the river? Or for this painter, is it the wildflowers that are just in front of his easel? Thank you very much. We have the I don't recall witness. So listen to this video clip, and he's being asked about, does he recall ever being arrested before? And your goal is not to get him to admit it necessarily, because he may not admit it. You're just looking for those outrageous statements.
Do you recall, Mayor, what the circumstances?
I don't recall. Like my answer said, I don't recall.
You really don't remember what you were charged with?
No, sir, my answer is I don't recall.
So you remember being placed in prison for a specific sentence?
That is correct.
Do you remember what prison you were placed in?
I was in Milan, Michigan.
So we've gone from I don't recall to ever being arrested to, oh my gosh, I've been in prison. So it goes from this outrageous statement to something specific. So what was the key, other than repeating the question, that made this so successful? Right? The attorney was prepared. He knew where he'd been convicted, where he served jail time, so he knew where he was going. But if he didn't know those answers, if he hadn't prepared for the deposition or gotten all the documents and all the facts, when the witness says, I don't recall, you're kind of stuck with it. So one of the keys to defeating a lying witness is to be so well prepared with the documents that you know where the truth is, and you can force them to either make this outrageous statement, I don't recall, or eventually answer the question. And I believe it is so important to look at clips from actual trials so we can really learn what happens in a real courtroom. And let's watch what happens in her first minute of giving her opening statement in the Casey Anthony trial.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Orange County. As we have heard several times throughout the course of the jury selection proceedings, this is the case of the state of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. However, Kaylee's grandparents, George and Cindy, moved to Orlando in 1989 from Eastern Ohio. A little girl named Kaylee.
Did she capture your attention? Did she draw the jury in? There are studies that say that jurors are making their mind whether they like your side of the case or not within the first 30 seconds of your opening statement. The journey that took me where I am today is really not one that I ever expected. When I was in law school, I had one goal in mind, and that was to become a great trial lawyer. But something happened there that really changed me. My trial courses were taught by professors that were so boring. I just couldn't believe it. I was so eager to learn. And then to my shock, I realized that most of them had never even been to a courtroom. That was just amazing to me. I decided then that after I became a great trial lawyer, I would teach trial skills in a way that those professors never did or could have. I passionately believe you've got to engage your audience. I start all of my litigation teaching points with a video clip of an actual deposition or trial. It's the perfect way to get everyone engaged. Second, there's some great trial lawyers out there, but that doesn't mean they're great teachers. Not only do I have the trial experience, but I also have written award-winning and best-selling textbooks. It really sets me apart. And why is that important? When I say something in my training, the lawyers know they can trust me. And that's what it's all about.